Dear students, good morning to all. Hope you all are fine. Today's our offline class is about human circulatory system. Human circulatory system, also known as the blood vascular system, comprises of a muscular chambered heart, a network of closed branching blood vessels, and blood, the fluid which is circulated. Structure of human heart. Heart is located in the thoracic cavity in between the two lungs, slightly tilted to the left. Heart is derived from the mesoderm and has the size of a clenched fist. Heart is protected by a double-walled membranous bag called pericardium. The pericardium consists of two layers, an outer parietal pericardium and an inner visceral pericardium attached to the heart. A space called pericardial cavity is present between the two layers, which is filled with a fluid called pericardial fluid. The pericardium protects the heart from shocks and mechanical injuries. Our heart is divided into four chambers, two relatively small upper chambers called atria, singular atrium, and two larger lower chambers called ventricles. The walls of the ventricles are much thicker than that of the atria. The right and the left atria are separated by a thin muscular wall called the interatrial septum, whereas the right and left ventricles are separated by a thick walled interventricular septum. A thick fibrous tissue called the atrioventricular septum separates the atrium and the ventricle of the same side. However, both of the atrioventricular septa are provided with an opening through which the two chambers of the same side are connected. This is the section of human heart where you can see the aorta, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, left atrium, bundle of his, left ventricle, interventricular septum, apex, and vena cava, sinoatrial node, right atrium, atrioventricular node, chordae tendineae, and right ventricle. This is the section of human heart. The openings between the atria and the ventricles are guarded by atrioventricular AV valves. The AV valve between right atrium and right ventricle has three flaps or cusps and is therefore called the tricuspid valve. The AV valve between the left atrium and left ventricle has two flaps or cusps and is called the bicuspid valve or mitral valve. Special fibrous cords called the chordae tendineae, chordae tendineae or attached to the flaps of the bicuspid and tricuspid valves at one end, and their other ends are attached to the ventricular wall with special muscles, the papillary muscles. The chordae tendini the chordae tendini prevent the bicuspid and tricuspid valves from collapsing back into the atria during powerful ventricular contractions. Three semilunar valves, that means half moon shaped pockets, are found at the points where the pulmonary artery arising from the right ventricle and carrying deoxygenated blood to the lungs, and aorta, large artery arising from left ventricle and carrying oxygenated blood to all parts of the body, leave the heart. These valves prevent blood from getting back into the ventricles. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood through coronary sinus and two large veins called veni cava, one superior vena cava and one inferior vena cava. The left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs through two pairs of pulmonary veins. Rest will be inshallah in the next offline class. Thanks.